Hello. Today I want to talk about what makes a main character vibe. There are some people they walk around and you just feel like they exude charismatic vibe, um, main character vibe, unlike NPC vibe. So you could see this as an NPC's analytics of the main characters because she wants to be one. Um, yeah, it's basically about how to be a person of substance, how to be that person who is inspiring and fascinating, all that good stuff. And I find that these people they have four things in common. And these observations I notice during my work and also when I read this book by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. It's called 100 Years of Solitude. It's such a beautiful book, haunting, overall just like chef kiss. Very good book. You should read. Um, so number one, main character vibe. They have this attitude of rejecting social expectations in terms of their dreams, what they do, what they wear, what they eat, or what other people think about them. They don't care, including their parents or loved ones, family members. Um, and so these people, they develop their own sense of beauty, their own sense of aesthetics, how to live in life. They know their moral codes and adhere to them. And I want to talk to you about this character in the book. She was one of my favorite characters of entire literature. Her name is Remedios the Beauty. And this woman, she refused to follow all of the social construct of what it's like to be a beautiful woman. She shaved her head. She refused to wear a corset. Instead, she just made herself a piece of underwear that's just like so lightweight and feels like sleepwear, feels like wearing nothing. She wore that, and for context, she was living in a time of, in the 20th century when women's way of dressing are still really restricting in a way. And what else? Remedios, the only thing that she obeyed is spontaneity. That's it. She didn't follow any rules that she felt like is not following her own way of living. And she would walk around the house naked. It's not like I'm telling you to walk around naked to be farming main character vibe, but and with people at home, walking around naked with people at home. Don't do that. What else? Okay, number two. I already told you this. Number two, main characters, they embrace spontaneity. That's it. That's the only thing that I follow. Spontaneity. And I was thinking about this a lot. I was like, what exactly does that mean? And I think in a confine of not harming anyone, preferably anything, you shorten the time from thinking about things to do things. Make it as short as possible. That's how you become spontaneous. And these things, it should be beneficial to you and to other people. And speaking of which, being spontaneous is hard. It's hard to be spontaneous because you have to be creative and you have to have the will to act and just not think too much and just do things. Okay. And Remedials, I think she's spontaneous in a way that I know she doesn't have any presumptuous thoughts about anyone. She doesn't hate anyone. To illustrate this point, let me tell you about an excerpt in the book. Somewhere in page 232. I don't know. So there's in this scene, Romero believes she was taking a shower, right? She has her own things of meditating by just like pouring water over and over again from top to bottom to wash her hair with. And she would do this for a very long time. It's like her ritualistic rites. And she would kill scorpions in the bathroom because there were a lot of scorpions crawling around. Yeah. And at one point, there's this man, and he was sneaking about her. He was climbing on top of the roof of the house and sneaking at her, being naked, taking a shower. And Remedios caught him. And you know what she said? She said, "Be careful, you're gonna fall. Be careful. The tiles are so old and you might slip and fall." And yeah, she was worried about the guy. The guy who was intruding aggressively her own privacy. And and he would talk to her. He was like, "Let me scrub your back." And Remedios the beauty, she was like, "Oh, why would you want to do such a thing? I don't think anyone needs somebody else to scrub their own back." And she just like kept nerding out about how moldy and old the tiles on the rooftop is, and it's gonna slip anytime soon. And then this guy, he was stupefied by her beauty. He was like, "Please marry me." And Remedios, she was like, "No, no, I don't think I can marry a guy who turns stupid looking at a naked woman." So that's Remedios the beauty. And her rule of obeying spontaneity. Okay, number three. Number three is that main characters, they're not afraid of loneliness. They know how to befriend with solitude. And come to think of it, I think loneliness, spending your time with yourself, is a natural part of being human. Everyone has to be alone at some point or another. Like when I take care of my patients, um, no matter how hard I try to console them and be with them, there are times that they have to go through their tough time alone, with no patients. I mean, no family, no friends around, no healthcare workers around, and it's just them and pain and suffering and the reality of dying. Yeah, but there's two sides of being alone. The good side is writers, inventors, creators, artists, they do need time to be alone to reflect and contemplate and to make things from being alone. I mean, like, it's necessary. If they don't have time alone, they're gonna go crazy. They're gonna go like, no, this is too much. I need to stay out and stay away from humanity for a while. And that's a good side. So, being creative and to be able to create things, ideas, things that are beneficial to humanity, you need time alone. But the other side is that if you sink too deep into loneliness and solitude and without a solid anchor of the will to bring value to other people, you gonna be bitter and delusional, and you're gonna be a tyrant if you're good at creating stuff or creating ideas or creating whatever you need to. And in 100 Years of Solitude, there's this character, his name is Jose Algardio Buendia, and he got tied up to a chestnut tree by the end of his life for the rest of his life because he lost it. He went crazy, spending too much time alone in his alchemy little room, in his workshop, without interacting with anyone or being with anyone or be of service to anyone. And there's also Aureliano Buendia, who got consumed by his madness and his pride and wars. He waged 32 wars and fathered 17 children out of wedlock. And he said he didn't do it because of anyone. He didn't do it because he wanted anything good for anyone. He did it because of his pride and because he could, and he's capable of waging wars. And most importantly, he was incapable of love. And so, yeah, without that core of altruism, like the drive to be altruistic, the capability of love, when you're alone, you're gonna be a monster. That's what it is. So yeah, develop your ability to love and to care, and to being good to other people. Number four, is that main characters, they're not afraid of death. Yeah, they're not afraid of they're not afraid of sickness or getting old or being raggedy. And it's interesting how the characters in 100 Years of Solitude approach death. It's weird, scary, terrifying, and inspiring at the same time. So there's this lady, her name is Amaranta Buendia, and her hobby is to make shawls. Yeah, during her downtime, her favorite thing to do is to make the piece of cloth that to cover yourself with when you die. And then, oh, there's Remedios of Beauty. Spoilers alert. Spoilers alert. When she is at her deathbed, when people were asking her how she's doing, she just smiled and she said, "Never been better." And her way of dying was just so puzzling to me. Oh, by the way, 100 Years of Solitude is a mystical realism book. Like, oh no, I mean like a magical realism book. That means it's like a lot of things happening in the story is symbolic. So the way that Remedios the Beauty died still puzzle me. I still don't understand what that means when the author wrote that she died with pieces of sheets cover up and she just got lifted off the ground. She died by means of levitation. Mm. Well, I guess that's how I imagine angels leave the earth. Yeah, one of my favorite characters in Gabriel Garcia Marquez just like killed her off in such a nonchalant way, and so early too. Oh, there's another female character that the way she died just also fascinating to me. So she died a painful death too. After she gave birth to her son, she was bleeding profusely. Like nobody can stop her bleeding. But she would console her partner that don't cry for too much and don't be sad for too long, and it's normal to die. Everybody dies. There's life and there's death, and they come hand in hand. And she would look at the midwives who are just like panicking, running around the house trying to find ways to stop her bleeding, but they couldn't. And she laughed. She looked at these people trying to stop something that's naturally gonna happen. And so she died. She got pill and pillar. And this Aureliano Segundo, his punchline is, "Life is short." I think he's the only good father in the story. Like, he always there for his kids and do whatever he could for his kids. And yeah, that's what I think about main characters. That's what they possess in their characteristics. I mean, like, there are videos on YouTube I used to watch about how to be charismatic and you do this and you'll be more interesting to other people. But I couldn't remember any of them until until I read and I figured things out myself. And so yeah. Well, I hope you enjoyed this analysis. On the off chance, I know that this type of YouTube videos are weird. I used to heavily edit my stuff. But this is how I sound like in real life for reals. This is how slow I speak in real life. I don't speak fast as I used to in my previous videos because I edited them. And now I was like, nah, I don't have time for that. I barely have any time to make a nice thumbnail. So yeah, and what do you think? What do you think that other unexpected characteristics that a main character possesses? And it's hard to be a main character. It's way easier to be an NPC. Well, it's just, my thoughts that I want to put out because I kept thinking about it. Unless I make a video or make something out of it and publish it to the wild internet, then my thoughts will be left alone and I could focus on doing something else or creating something else. So yeah, you have a good night. I'll see you later.